Hello everybody, my name is Ivan Ethos, and welcome to In a Nutshell. Today we're talking about Nova. I guess this is Nova Prime, but again, as I mentioned in previous videos, the Prime variants are just slightly different, usually in armor and maybe slightly in energy capacity compared to their non-Prime variant. So, what we're looking at here is Nova Prime, obviously, as I was saying previously. This is her loadout in Nova as a Prime without any modification, without any polarizations. She has 65 energy, 263 energy, 65 armor. That would be bad. 65 energy? Oof. 65 armor, 263 energy, 300 health, 300 shield, and sprint speed of 1.2, making her one of the faster warframes in the game. So what we're looking at here is we're going to explain, of course, her fourth ability is one of the ones that people really care about. But we're going to look at all four of her abilities. Pause AI. We're going to run them down to rank 30 as per normal. Boom. We're going to make sure that we only have the 6 that we normally do here. Select and simulate. Now, Nova's a fairly old warframe. She's a fun warframe, however. Has a couple really neat skills, kits, and everything else. So I'm currently using a special skin for her, so this is not going to be normal. So her first ability here is called Null Star. She creates antimatter particles that orbit her and seek nearby targets. Each active particle gives 5% damage reduction to Nova's health, so not her shields, and stacks it to 90%. So currently, I can create 6 animatic particles, which gives me a grand total of 30% damage reduction to my health. And they deal 150 damage. So we'll go ahead and turn those on. As you can see, not exactly the most reliable damage source. It still hurts. And apparently it applies slash effects. What? I did not know this. Yeah, so I'm going to be looking something up here real fast, because I never knew that these orbs actually do slash effects here. It could be similar to some other weapon, some other abilities that actually scale up the mods or the effects of certain weapons and material. So we're going to look here. Where is it? There's that. Okay. So the particles deal slash damage. So that's a little different. You wouldn't expect particles like this to deal slash damage, but apparently they do. And so they have an extremely small chance of applying a slash proc. Gotcha. Her second ability is antimatter drop. So she launches a contained particle of antimatter that will detonate upon collision with increased deadliness when targeted by weapons. So I'll just kind of show that little second. So it's a 15-meter range. The orb damage is 200 damage usually, but the damage absorption is 8 times. So if I fire it and then hit it a lot, well, it's going away. It's going far away. Oh boy, that was a big explosion. It was kind of hard to say exactly what that ghost was. But Nova's kind of always been an interesting character because she has a couple really unique mechanics for her set. So her first 2 abilities, as I mentioned before, as I already mentioned, one is a slightly defensive ability. The more power strength she has, the more particles she generates, which is kind of cool. Her second ability is kind of like a targeting thing. I don't know if it actually makes targets aggro it. We'll have to see in a little bit. But that'll be another thing. So her third ability is Wormhole. A lot of people know it. She can have a number of portals out. They have a good duration, a decent range, and it's for instantaneous transportation. But you have to be careful because, it's a portal into the other world. Bloop. What? Wait, what's going on? Well, that's weird. Okay. Okay, that one must go, like, the other one must go way off, or something, because this one is transforming just fine. So if I go over here and then I also do the thing. Oh, that makes me sad. Anyways, so yeah, it's basically just a fast way of transporting but it can't go through walls, as you can see. It kind of gets stuck on whatever surface you pointed at. But it can do all kinds of other things along with it, including sometimes moving objectives like the drones out in the plains of Eidolon. I don't know if they fixed that bug yet, though. I don't think, as far as I remember, that enemies can be used inside of them like the bounce pads from Vauban, but you know, we'll see here just a second. Stand really, really close to this guy and just kind of go, bloop. Can I push you? Can I? No, no, I cannot. So, as far as I know, enemies are immune to the effects of the wormholes, which makes sense. I mean, look, I apparently wormhole to him, which could be a weird thing. Now, the fourth ability is one of the things that most people know Nova for. It's a well-understood ability. It's called Molecular Prime. So she primes all enemies in a radius with volatile antimatter, and slows them, and then it makes them do a lot of damage once their shields have been depleted. So, as will be seen right here. So, as you can see, this bubble starts to slowly expand outward. Its maximum radius is dependent on its duration as well as its range. Enemies cannot be primed more than once. So it's something to keep in mind that their bodies also disintegrate. Not always the greatest thing to have if you have a Necros, or, you know, a Necros or a Hydroid who are trying to get more loot drops. Unless you're very, very quick. So as you can see right there, it's a pretty volatile ability. Again, its expansion radius is dependent on two factors. Its duration and its maximum range. As you can see, as it slowly expands outward, then it applies the primed, and it will only continue a short ways past. So right now, my ability for Molecular Prime is at a duration of 6 seconds, so it expands over a period of 6 seconds. And then its radius is 35 meters. If you reduce your duration, it will make the Molecular Prime expand faster, but it also will make the effect duration last less. But at the same time, your radius will not be decreased, so you'll actually have a faster wave of expanding death, which is pretty useful. So those are Nova's 4 abilities kind of in a nutshell, a very basic setup for her. We'll go ahead and modify her in an economy build really quick, just a kind of basic way I expect most people to want to build her. So to start off with, your aura should be Corrosive Projection if you want to do it, or Energy Siphon, or even Shield Disruption, depending on your enemy you're going up against. Your Matter Eye should be, well, Intensify at the very least. She has 3 Matter Eye polarities, so you could do a bunch of different things. I tell people to try to stay away from Hunter Adrenaline or Rage on her, mostly because her low armor. She doesn't want to have no shield. She wants to keep things going. So be careful with that. You can do some things like, you know, the Lightning Dash or Firewalker if you have them, rending turns. And it's really hard to say exactly what you should put on her Matter Eye polarities, because she really doesn't need anything much from Matter Eye. Not really. Now, if you go over to the Vazarin, you know, people who often will go with Overextended for that increased range, but if you don't have that, when you're here, you should be dropping yourself some Redirection and Vitality, as they are the staple of Warframe defensive mods right now to keep low-end frames like Nova alive for longer periods of time in combat. In Naramon, you should be running her, if you do have it, with Equilibrium. It's pretty maxed out. Flow, which is not always a good idea because that more energy for her to use. Natural Talent is a must-have if you have the mod itself. Other than that, of course, Streamline, Stretch, Augur Reach, that kind of stuff. The basics from these things. So this is kind of an economy build for her. It's really kind of sad. This is her economy build because you don't want to push anything one way or another. You can of course throw on different. If you have enough capacity, you can throw on some other things like vigor. If you have vigor, you can throw that on to one of her non-adaptable slots. The ones that have already been polarized. It's up to you. This is kind of her economy basic survival build if you're not trying to do too much. And as you can see from her abilities setup, it makes her range for her null star, its damage a little higher, the end emitter drop a little higher, the range for her wormhole a little higher, and the slow amount for her molecular prime increased. So the higher your power strength, the bigger your slow gets. So if you look at like a different build for maximum duration with low power strength, you'll notice that it actually has a minus 30% slow, which means, yes, this ability actually has a speed up amount. This is what they call a Speedva build. Now, a Speedva build requires the lowest possible power strength you can get. It's only used really in defense missions, some survival missions, because it makes them attack as well as move faster. So you're also your enemy who usually shoots 1 round per second is going to be doing like 1 1/3 rounds per second, and that can be life and death. But it's also a good way of moving along waves faster in defense, and also getting enemies back to where your group is in missions like survivals. So Speedva is kind of a useful build for some particular missions. Otherwise, you can just go on with a pure. Oh, see, wow. I got even lower with this one. So 10% power brings you down. 10% power brings you to minus 60%. So this right now is a 60% increased speed. That's crazy. It's about as high as you can really get it. So that's with power donation, which is a mod you get from doing arbitration. So most people won't have that right now. Now, if I remove all of this and I build her strictly for power, strength, and for range, you will see a different change happen here. So we're going to go ahead and put on, we'll put Energy Siphon on there. We'll do Blind Rage for the power strength, Transient Fortitude for the reduced duration and more strength, and of course, we will do Umbral Intensify, Umbral Vitality to give me that little bit of a push. So, and actually I think I can go up to 300% with Umbral Fiber. Well, it gets really close, at least. And then, let's see here. Anything else I can do? Nope. Okay, so we'll go into here. Now, I can do Overextended for that incredibly high range, if I want to do that. And I have 2 more slots, so I'll go ahead and throw in Augur Reach. Now, Augur Secrets. See, if I took that out, that's how I get 318 power strength. But I can put Augur Reach right here and call it good. Was the Concoction Drift require Stealth Drift? Cunning Drift requires 9, so I can't quite put that there. But 130%, and if you look at this, it's a 75% slow, so it's about the maximum you can get for slow is 75%. The radius is 27 meters. The duration is 4.5 seconds. So really, you still are going to have that range spreading out at a very slow rate. And if you also noticed here, another weird thing is that the antimatter particles actually go down. So we'll actually have to look here, because I thought the power particles were based on power strength, but they might not be. So, okay, so the antimatter particles might be linked to duration instead of power strength. They're either duration or range. So as a heads up, you can get 10% power strength, or you can get 318% power strength and watch things go absolutely bonkers. Now, 318% power strength is because I'm kind of curious how this is going to play out. If I bring my enemies up to rank 100, level 100, we'll simulate them there. Make sure I have all my energy. Okay, so we'll drop out. Really? Holy balls! Quite literally, holy balls. I just remember this weapon is modified. Still though, that's pretty intense. I'm kind of curious to see what this will do with the particles. Not that great. Not officially great at all, actually. But if you have a good weapon, you can make that antimatter drop do some pretty serious damage. So this should expand and touch them. So now if I kill one, well, that's absolutely pathetic. Power strength apparently makes only the antimatter drop more interesting. Alright, so that's her abilities, that's her kit. So we're going to go ahead and show you where you can both get her, as well as where you can, what her augments are. Alrighty, Roo. So we're going to start with her augments. So Cephalon Suda, for example, and then the parent sequence, I believe, are the two that you can get them at. So just going to find them here. Yeah, I would hope they would be here. It would make more sense. So Neutron Star is her first one. It's the Null Star augment. It recasting Null Star make all of any particles explode, causing damage. The guaranteed blast proc within 8 meters. So it's like, okay, that's kind of fair, right? Antimatter Absorb, of course, it absorbs enemy bullets within 3 meters, increases its damage when it explodes. So this makes antimatter drop have an actual absorption effect. So this is something that you would actually get where it would absorb damage from a small range, a bit like Mag's Magneton. So let's go ahead and look at her last one here, Escape Velocity. As you can see, she has no one for her fourth, which is kind of sad, but it's kind of expected at the same time. The escape velocity is as it travels through the wormhole, gain a 50% speed boost for 7 seconds. Now, this speed bonus, as I mentioned before with her ultimate, actually is not only for her movement, but it's all, or anyone else's movement, it's actually also for gun speed and for melee weapons. So it's actually a great freaking way of killing people very, very quickly. Some people also use like Volt in combination, and it makes them insanely fast. All right, so a big question is, where do you get Nova, right? Well, Nova's components come from the Raptors, which is the bosses of Europa. Otherwise, just like any other basic frame, you should be able to pick her up through here. Ta-da! 35,000 to pick up Nova. So, otherwise, on Europa, it's Nama. So, Europa, because my brain's not working. There's Europa. So, Nama, the Raptor assassination. You do this mission a few times, and as always with all bosses, you have a chance of dropping the systems, the chassis, and the neuropics. Now, the neuropics and the chassis have the same drop chance. Systems have a lower drop chance, but not by much. You should be able to pick up all Nova's parts relatively quickly within, 10 to 15 runs. So if you're looking to pick up Nova, who sounds like a fun frame for you, pick her up from Nema and Europa as soon as you're there. Remember that if you want to pick up her augments, some of them are one of them I know for a fact is very useful. Join either the parent sequence or the Cephalon Suda. Remember, if you pick the Cephalon Suda, you have to pick Carber's Hexus Steel Meridian. Parent sequence, you have to pick Red Veil New Loco. You can kind of mix and match a tiny bit, but this is your two divides. So everyone, I hope you've enjoyed watching this video. If you have, like it. If you want to see more, subscribe. And if you have complaints, comment in the comment section and let me know what I'm doing wrong. I always like to improve. And until next time, everybody, I hope you've all enjoyed watching this video. It's been a pleasure of having this done for you. And I will see you guys all in my next video. Bye, everybody.